What's up, YouTube? It's me, Dana Donnelly, the most famous person you haven't heard of yet. And today we're going to be doing every thought I had this week. This week, I went on my very first brand trip. I know, baby's first brand trip, very exciting. You're probably thinking, wow, her fame journey's going so well. She got invited on an influencer brand trip. Oh, no, unfortunately, I was just there as a plus one. That's right. Whose plus one were you? Well, because you asked, my fiance's. My fiance is a more famous social media creator than I. And generally speaking, I would say that this is a serious women's issue. How are we letting all these men have more followers than the women? But here's the thing, is across the board, that's actually not true. It's girls tend to have more followers than guys. So this issue is not actually a women's issue so much as it is a woman's issue. And that woman is me. I need to be more famous, stat. My experience as a plus one, first of all, a little bit about the brand trip. I'll put some video footage that I took here while I talk about this. But we were lucky enough to be flued out to the Four Seasons in Palo Alto, California, which is actually, funnily enough, where I, Dana Donnelly, am from, born and raised. But yeah, they put us up at the Four Seasons. We got to tour around the Facebook headquarters. It was very fun, very cool. But here's what I'll say. The plus one life is not for me, because here's the thing about being a plus one. I don't know if you guys know this, is no one respects a freaking plus one, okay? You can't get no respect as a motherfucking plus one because everybody there is there to network. So some people were like low-key pretty chill when they found out I was plus one. They were like, oh, nice to meet you, I gotta go. But other people would spit in my face and be like, you dirty plus one. Fuck you for wasting my time, you little nobody. I'm here to network. My time is precious. Yeah. So that was hard. But overall, I had a really great time. Thank you to Facebook for inviting us. And now, officially, I am also a Facebook creator. So if you are on Facebook, or you have an aunt who's on Facebook, or you have an cousin who's on Facebook, or you have a gym teacher who's on Facebook, or if your gym teacher is your aunt who's on Facebook, tell them to follow me. Tell them to follow me on there so next time I can go not just as a plus one, and maybe less people will spit on me. Well, without further ado, let's go into every thought that I had this week. And if you're wondering why should you care what I, Dana Donnelly, think, you should care what I think because I'm a freaking genius. All right, I'll say it. I've always been smart. I was the smartest girl in my 3rd grade class, and I'm the smartest girl in my 27th grade class in my life. I'm 30 years old now. And how do I know that I'm a genius? Because whenever anyone else says anything, I'm like, that's dumb. That sounds dumb to me. And that's how you know you're smart, is when other people sound dumb to you. Starting off strong, AI is gonna take our jobs. Bro, touchless paper towel dispensers don't even work. This thought was inspired to me when I was trying to get some paper towels using the touchless dispenser in an airport restroom on my latest trip. And to my unsurprise, because they never work, it didn't work, okay? And the whole time I'm just thinking like, guys, people are better than machines, okay? If a person had been standing there holding paper towels, there'd be no way for me to not get a paper towel after our interaction, except if they were deliberately withholding the paper towel from me. Maybe the paper towel dispenser didn't want to specifically give me, Dana, a paper towel, in which case maybe it's even smarter and works better than I think. But I don't think that was its intention. I think that the paper towel dispenser didn't feel anything toward me. It just didn't freaking work. And I left that bathroom with wet hands. This isn't a thought I had so much as a picture I shared on the website X, where I share a lot of my thoughts while they're happening. But this is a picture of me biting down on my lanyard that says business that they gave me on my trip where I was a plus one at the Facebook headquarters. And yeah, the lanyard says business. I put my tongue on the word that says business, and I captioned this, business be like. Business be like. It be like tongue in a lanyard that says business. Any questions? Okay. The existence of a Pilates princess implies the existence of a Pilates chambermaid. Is this the world you bitches want to live in? My problem with the whole Pilates princess rhetoric is I'm like, why are we suddenly like glorifying the freaking monarchy? You know what I mean? Why can't we just be like Pilates lasses? You know, like why do we have to have a royalty title associated with that just to do Pilates? Wear your leg warmers, wear your little ballerina wrap. Don't make me freaking bow down to you. You know what I mean? Your Legree machine is not a throne. Thank you. You guys will be pleased to know that while Hollywood productions don't always use intimacy coordinators on set, many prominent showbiz couples do actually use intimacy coordinators off set. And by intimacy coordinators, I do mean scared 20-somethings they coerce into threesomes. Little look into Hollywood. So people were mad because Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson said they didn't use intimacy coordinators in their movie where they frick, and people are upset. They're like, oh my God, no one helped coordinate the intimacy? That's crazy. Like, whatever. Okay, you're all virgins. Anyway, but just kidding. But yeah, it's like, yes, sometimes Hollywood productions don't use intimacy coordinators. Sometimes they're kind of like, you know, freestyling. They're freestyling the makeouts and the touch in AO. But you guys, again, you'd be pleased to know that a lot of really a lot of older A-list couples, they be having help in their sexual encounters. You know what I'm saying? I won't go any farther than that. Also, don't sue me. I didn't name any names. But you know who you are, Brad Pitt. Just kidding. This is not about Brad Pitt. Okay. Realizing my relationships with a lot of my exes were low-key parasocial on account of I knew everything about them and they knew nothing about me. They weren't in fact the love of my life, but rather my autistic special interest. And that I realized the other day. I was like, I was in so many relationships where I was the question asker and never the question answerer. There were never any questions thrown back at me. And so I literally could like write you Wikipedia pages on these guys I've dated's lives. And I don't even know if they could tell you how many siblings I had. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they could tell you what hometown I'm from. Like, I don't know if they could tell you anything. And that made me realize, like, they may as well, I was dating guys that they may as well have been celebrities that I just knew from the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was parasocial with them. I had a whole encyclopedia of knowledge related to them, and I was just a blurry shape. I was just a blurry shape to them. So, and that's on dating in your 20s. So, yo. Hot take. But when someone who's 70 looks 35, I'm not impressed. I'm freaking scared. I'm in a horror movie and that person is about to drink my blood, obviously. You guys ever see someone online and they're like, yeah, I'm actually 70. And they like look so freaking young. And all the comments are like, what? How are you fucking 70? Like, I thought you were 40 max. Da-da-da. Wow, that's so impressive. Give us your anti-aging routine, queen. I don't want her anti-aging routine. I know her anti-aging routine and it said she's a freaking demon, yo. That freaks me out. You shouldn't look more than 10 years younger than your age. And I think that bring back the witch trials for people who are looking too much younger than their age. Just got recognized in the airport. Starstruck flight attendant runs up to me with a, hey, is this you? She literally has a pic of me printed out in a navy blue book. I think you left your passport on the plane. Like, okay, celeb era activated. That's just a joke about the idea that I would think that someone had a picture of me in a blue book, but really I left my passport on the plane. But I actually did get recognized on my flight by the flight attendant. She said that she hated my videos. I'm on an influencer trip as a +1, so obviously I'm saving all the other influencers' time and disappointment by wearing a shirt that reads, bad networking opportunity, just a +1, feel free to ignore me and even cut me in lines and or shove me aside if need be. Didn't really wear a shirt that said that. Wish I had, because as I said, got freaking spat on by conceited influencers who felt their time was being wasted by a dirty, no status +1. And to be clear, that actually never happened and nobody spit on me. Okay. But if your Facebook's attorney is reading my lawsuit, yes, they did. completely packed flight, but the seat next to me remains open. That's God's business class, baby. It's true. Flight was completely full, but the seat next to me was open on my flight out there. Yeah, I had a little taste of the good life before it was ripped away, and I was a dirty peasant +1. Thinking about this time, I cried to my therapist in high school, "Why don't any boys like me?" And she goes, "It's the oversharing." And I was like, "I only do that to you." And she was like, "Oh, maybe it's the Birkenstocks then?" And that is like loosely based. I think that actually that interaction happened pretty closely to the way I'm recounting it. My therapist in high school thought I was really boring. And so I think like she took kind of what I would say are normal therapy offerings, and she would essentially accuse me of being boring. And then she just talk about how her other clients were really cool and hot and did coke with the Olsen twins. And honestly, again, I always say this. I am glad on hindsight that she spent our sessions talking about how cool and hot her other clients were, because that ultimately did help me be cooler and hotter and aspire to something greater than what I was. You know, I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful she didn't actually really listen to me that much, because I was boring. My problems were boring. And honestly, thank God she had the good sense to say, "Shut the frick up." And she did also point out that wearing Birkenstocks, here's what I realized too. In high school, I was like, no boys like me, no boys like me. What I realized on hindsight is I actively was not I was not trying to make boys like me, and good. You shouldn't, but like, how do I say this? I was self-sabotaging my reciprocal crush opportunities, and she was simply pointing out that maybe I was sabotaging those opportunities. That being said, a guy should like you. If a guy really likes you, he'll like you even if you're wearing Birkenstocks. Yeah. That's the point I'm trying to make here. My favorite thing to do at the airport is stand on the baggage scale and get told I'm overweight. Okay, so here's a little tip. If you guys are taking a flight and you want a free check bag, here's my tip. When they go to weigh your bag, get on the baggage scale with your bag. At which point the gate agent is going to be like, "Oh, your bag's overweight." And then you are going to burst into tears and go, "Did you just call me overweight?" At which point they will realize you're standing on the scale with your bag. And they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, ma'am, can you get off the scale?" But you just commit to how upset you are. "Oh my God, you just called me overweight. I'm so upset." They're going to be like, no, like, "Ma'am, like, you just meant your bag was overweight because you were standing on the scale." Like, "Oh, I just feel so bad about myself." And they're going to be so stressed out about the fact that they may have implied that you were overweight, that they will comp your checked bag. And that's what I did this most recent flight, and it worked really well, and I highly recommend it. R.I.P. Teen Vogue. You gave me my eating disorder in 2005, and I'll forever be grateful. It's true, Teen Vogue is closing up shop. RIP. Obviously, in the macro, I am so sad to see like publishing as an industry taking such a massive hit. I think print journalism and physical media is very important. That being said, Teen Vogue really be printing some shit in the Y2K era, okay? Teen Vogue was perpetuating eating disorders. They were perpetuating dangerous sex trends that I don't believe were real outside of Teen Vogue. Like, I literally think Teen Vogue was like making things up, and then girls, impressionable young women such as myself, were copying them. Like, okay, the first time I ever heard of this thing called drunkorexia was from Teen Vogue, and drunkorexia, as Teen Vogue described it, was a phenomenon that every girl was doing where they weren't eating so that they wouldn't get fat from alcohol calories. And I would maintain that Teen Vogue invented drunkorexia. I would maintain they weren't covering a phenomenon, they were inventing a phenomenon. And I would say, yes, while in the macro, rest in peace, Teen Vogue, in the micro, Teen Vogue, you were doing some insidious shit, and you definitely contributed to a very disturbing eating disorder and sexual promiscuity culture in the 2000s, okay? Can a brain scientist tell me why when I bob my hair, I think it looks really good, but then the second my hair is long again and I see pics of me with the bob, it makes me want to throw up? What is this phenomenon, you guys? Like, I'll cut my hair right above shoulder length and I'll think it looks so freaking cute, but then the second my hair grows back past shoulder length again, I literally am like, oh, the bob was fucking hideous. What's that all about? Anytime a man compliments my outfit, I'm wearing a black tank top and jeans. Anytime a woman compliments my outfit, I'm wearing the weirdest fucking shit you've ever seen. And that's just about how guys like basic outfits and girls like crazy outfits. And that is the difference between the genders. Wish I was delicate and feminine, but unfortunately, my dad was a corporate middle manager who would come home every night, chug 7 beers, and yell at 8-year-old me like I was his boss. And I did have to learn to fight back in character as that piece of shit David who inhabits me now. And that's about how I had scream fight matches every night with my grown dad as an 8-year-old girl, where he aired out all his frustrations that were really supposed to be directed at his boss, who he didn't like, onto me, an overwhelmed 3rd grader. And he's dead now. And I hope he's resting in peace. And I would just like to say my heart goes out to any corporate middle managers out there trying to make a living for their family. I would say quit and be poor. If I could give corporate middle managers out there a piece of advice, it would be to quit and be poor, because your kids would probably like you better if you were poor and not screaming at them. But what do I know? I'm just a +1. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel so that next time I get invited on a trip, it can not be as a +1 and people will think I'm important and look me in the eye and want to talk to me, etc. Okay, love you guys.